Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, the only Idaho podcast focused on providing profits for Idaho people. If you love our state and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Idaho Business Podcast with your friend, host, and all-around great guy and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
All right, everyone, welcome back. As always, we're sponsored by HealthWest. Great organization, great group to get your medical treatments taken care of. Go give them a holler where they're closest to you throughout Idaho, even outside of Idaho. We are also sponsored by New Clean Commercial Cleaning and Commercial Cleaning Services, my companies. If you need any janitorial services, carpet cleaning services, any type of cleaning services, you let us know. Give us a call at 208-254-7070. If you tell us that you heard about us on the podcast, we'll give you a free restart of your office, meaning we'll bring in a hydrofluorous fogger, leave it in your office. It's completely safe for it to run while you guys are in there, and it'll get that office sickness out. It's obviously when Paul and Nancy come in here back in the office, coughing and not washing their hands, it's going to have an effect, but we'll take care of you. No strings attached. All right. We're in March now. We're winding down Q1. And many of you are thinking, okay, maybe I'm on track to hit my goals for 2025. Maybe some of you are thinking I'm behind the 8-ball a little here and I need to pick up the slack. Some of you think it's all about I need to get out there and sell and sell and sell. Yeah, that's cool. It's true. There's nothing wrong with sales. But how many of you are trying to put the cart before the horse? Meaning, are your core systems in place? This is a big one. Now, if you've been in business for a couple of years and you're doing, several $100,000 a year in sales, at least, it's time for you to be thinking, okay, let's look into systems. And what I'm meaning by this is when I ask you, if I was to ask you, or someone was to ask you, if you're the CEO or the president or the owner of the company, and they ask, hey, what is your customer fulfillment system? If you're retail, if you're services, what ensures that customers receive what they want and what's promised? Same, you can go down the list. What is the system for lead conversion? What's the system for lead generation? What's your system for hiring and onboarding? What's your system for managing the flow of money, reflecting overall health of business? What's your systems for marketing? Focuses on customers, affecting everything from initial contact to final product and services delivery. Okay. And even down to leadership, the core of any business, defining visions, values, and strategies, which give directions and purpose to all other systems. Okay. If I or anyone else was to ask you, how do you, let's just start something easy, because this is something that everyone wants, everyone needs. How do you onboard or how do you hire someone? And if you start the sentence with, I do whatever, it's time to change. Okay. It shouldn't be starting with you. If you're in the situation I just described, you've been in business several years now, and you're doing several $100,000 a year in sales, it's time to have other people helping you at this time. Doesn't mean that you should be able to step back completely and not do anything. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there needs to be systems outside of you that is running to help your company. You may be involved in some systems, but this is important to have these type of systems in place. There's a quote I love, and it's by James Clear, and it says, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." This is awesome. I love this one. If you guys haven't read E-Myth, it's a great book. This is important for you guys to read if you haven't read that one. Yeah, it stands for the entrepreneurial myth, and it's an important book to read. But it's for me taking me as an example, it's taken me years to put systems in place, and we're constantly revamping them. Okay, this is working, but now, because of COVID or because of X, Y, and Z, now things have changed, and you don't just write a system and say, okay, it's good. Let's just do this over and over again. No, you have to continue to evolve and change things up as the world evolves. So when it comes to hiring, we have a full system in place. When it comes to onboarding, we have a full system in place to where they meet their first day, what they do for their first even hour of that first day, down to the email they're getting before they come to that first meeting of their first day. Everything is built up, So these are the things that you need to be thinking of when it comes down to lead conversion. Okay, what are your systems for there? What were your systems for lead generation? Is it just, referrals? All my business comes from referrals. Yeah, that's great. That's great. But you need to have some more avenues than just referrals, because sometimes they dry up, and you need to have other avenues that keeps other sales funnels flowing, so there's never a dead moment in your business, so you can keep people working and keep those people that you rely on paid. Now, why am I talking about systems? Why am I talking about all this kind of stuff? Because too many of us have these grand gestures in our minds and our heads, thinking, in 5-10 years, I'm going to sell this business and I'm going to just sell off in the sunset and life's going to be great. That's great. I want that for you. Everyone should want that for you. And if you don't have friends that want that for you, you need to find better friends. But if you want that for yourself, you need to have systems in place, because people and acquisition teams, or just private buyers, and trade buyers, they want to see systems. They don't want to see, you're the owner and you have to do everything in this business. So really, you don't have a business. You just own your job. Yeah, pretty much. Well, what do you have to buy then? If you can make yourself more owner absentee, the better. I'm not saying you don't want to ever be involved in your business. You do want to be involved. You do want to still have a touch for your customers. You still want to have a touch for your employees. You're the one you're providing that culture, that vision, the values, the strategy, and pushing that all downward towards your key management staff and your core employees. What I'm saying though is you have to have those systems. So as a buyer comes in, they're saying, I can literally buy this company and add it to my company just like it, and it's going to run itself, or I can integrate it into mine because these systems are better than mine, or you have something that I don't, or vice versa. We can add and subtract from each other, or they're not going to even give you a second look. That's why most businesses never sell. It's because they're all owner dependent. They all depend heavily upon the owner to run. Even when you say, I'll sell and I'll provide training for 6 months, that's great. But when you've created a culture and systems based upon everything pointing back at you, even if that was a sell and a new owner would come in, all those employees, you're going to have turnover right off the bat, because they're going to try to run things off systems and they're not used to being able to think for themselves. They're used to always saying, what do I do? What do I do here? And turning to you as their mom or as their dad and saying, solve this for me, do this for me, help me with this. Instead of, being hired off of their own talents and their abilities, which they do have, but they need to be guided with this proper systems in mind. Even down to, like, we have a system, we have, many employees that work in the evenings. We have systems even to spell out a 7-step system when someone doesn't show up at night or someone calls out at night and they don't show up for their shift. Okay. You might think, oh, that's crazy. It's not, because you might think in your head, well, I just have to call so and so and so and get it covered. Cool. Well, now I've just taken that information that you just said and put it into a system, written it down of that thought process. So now I have a management team at night that goes through it for me. So guess what? When I'm on a date with my wife, or going to a little league game for my son, or a dance competition for my daughter, I'm not distracted, and my kids don't hate me because I'm taking calls all night long or all day long, because my business lacks systems. And I'm telling you, your life will be easier now if you put systems in place. It's not all just about, oh, I want to sell in the future. I hope you do. Again, I hope you do. But let's just talk about here now. If you want your life to be easier, you want to have some balance in your life. And I say balance because just when I started out this episode with, you should have a little more balance. After you've been in business for a few years, you're doing, several thousand, 100,000 a year in sales, up to, 500,000, you're at that point, and you're going beyond that point. Great. You should have systems in place, and you should have some balance. Before that, as you're getting started and it's a new startup, balance doesn't exist. I hate to break it to you, but those entrepreneurs, those startups, there's no balance that exists. My wife didn't like me during those years. My kids didn't get to see me during those years from a lot of times. And they got to see a roller coaster of emotions from me. And that's just part of being an entrepreneur. That's just part of getting something off the ground. But what I'm talking about is something that's established, something that's running already, something that you have proven customers, proven products or services, and now you have to work on your business. Step back, stop working in the business, stop hammering in those nails yourself, and say, okay, how do I train them to hammer the nails like I hammer the nails? How do I train them to go and buy the nails like I buy the nails? How do I train them to invoice those nails like I invoice those nails? All those things are important steps. And you might say, well, I can do all that. Great, you can. But your time is better spent going and finding other customers and creating better systems for your company. So when you do want to sell, and you do want to ride off in the sunset with your spouse, your loved ones, and hang out with your children as you retire, you have that option. That's why many companies are not selling. Is because of this. 1 out of 11 businesses sell in the United States, and it's because of the lack of systems. And to follow up with systems, and I want to get too sidetracked here, it's because how they run their finances. And we can go off this another time, but if you're running all your personal finances through your business and convoluting your financial statements, that's another way. I know you're trying to show the tax man that you're not making any money, so you don't have to get taxed at the end of the year. That's all fine and dandy. I understand that. But when you go to sell, they want to see at least 3 years of strong income producing years. So you have to run straight books and help them understand, because people can't find financing for businesses from banks or traditional institutions if you don't have strong books to back up your claim. If you don't, and you really want to sell, and you do have a profitable business, and you can show that in your P&L after some add backs, your main options really are to owner finance. But I don't want to get too far off of that. I'm talking about systems. look at those systems. Look at your marketing, your finance, your management, your customer fulfillment, your lead conversion, your lead generation, and your hiring and firing systems. Okay, everything should be in place for that. We had to fire someone over the weekend. I wasn't involved in it, and I'm the owner of the business. So again, if you're the one that has to be involved in all those steps, you're doing it wrong. Okay, I hope this was helpful, because I'm telling you, like I say all the time, I'm only talking about the things that I've learned from bad experiences. I've had to get hit over the head countless times with a tack hammer to be able to be taught. And I want you to learn more of the easy way. Learn from my mistakes. Do as I say, not as I do. Be happy, be grateful, and find opportunities to serve others, and have a great week. Stay positive. Adios.
Congratulations on spending a couple of minutes getting a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Idaho business community. If you're feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.